I'm Kim Beasley, and I'm the host of Pamper-My-Business podcast, where you will learn tips, tools, and techniques that will give you the freedom to easily build your business brand online so that you can be seen and then sell to your target customers. I will be interviewing industry leaders and professionals who will share their knowledge and experience, which will help you brand your business online. Get ready to take notes and learn from Kim and her guests, because this is going to be a fun learning experience.
So 2 questions I have out of that. The first being, you mentioned me time. How important is it for entrepreneurs to have that me time? I know you said it made a difference for you in your life, and you explained how not everyone realizes you got to have that me time. So can you dive a little bit more into the me time?
Sure. I also think, we're all different. We all have different requirements for this. And I think probably the best thing that you can do is just pay attention to yourself, and how you're feeling. And with me, I know that I haven't had my me time. If I start to have like a slight irritation about being around a ton of people. Like if I'm in a meeting or I'm even like out with friends sometimes, if I haven't had enough time to myself, I start to feel like, when is this going to end? When am I going to go? Like that kind of thing. So that's an indication that like I really need to put that time back. And the me time is flexible. It's not like I sit and do any particular activity with the me time. The me time is really just kind of me having the space and the time, and the permission to do the stuff, whatever it is that strikes my fancy at the moment. It could be reading. It could just be, zoning out. It could be anything. But I don't know. I don't think that we all have the same requirements. I don't think everybody else, is like me necessarily. But I think, we just need to pay attention to the signs and realize that, we could all benefit from a little bit of time to collect our thoughts and process.
So you just shared with us about me time and the importance of it. And so that was the first question that came up with the last thing that you shared with us when you were talking about issues you faced in your business. The other thing that came up, you mentioned you were moving your group off of Facebook. Can you tell us more about that and what you mean by that?
Yeah. So when I first started the coaching business, that's when I started the group. I started the group really early without any real plan for the group. It was just going to be a place where side hustlers could hang out. That's really what I had in mind. And, I had a great time with it. It was, it ended up, I made some changes over the years and everything to it. But more recently, I'd say probably, within the last 8 or so months, I haven't really enjoyed being on Facebook as much. I'm not really it's begun to feel very, very noisy. And I've heard that from a number of folks in my, my community and, on my email list. There are people that are on my list that won't join the group because they don't want to be on Facebook. So yeah, over just the past, a couple of weeks or so, I've been doing some really hardcore research. It's like, okay, if I'm not going to be on Facebook, I still want the community and I want more. I want to do more with the community. So where do I want to take the group? Where do I want to create a new home for us? And, I looked at a couple of different options, but I landed on Mighty Networks. So yes, I understand. I'll say this right away. I understand that, people do a lot of, daily interaction on Facebook. They're just on Facebook and it's almost like a automatic thing. It's almost like muscle memory. You don't even think about it. You just check Facebook. So it's very convenient for people to have their groups on Facebook. But here's the thing. What I ended up seeing is that a lot of folks that would come into my group, maybe they did a search, they looked at a couple of search terms, side hustle or whatever. They just found me because it looked interesting, came in, never really interacted. And I had a lot of that happening. And I'm sure that that's not a unique thing. But when you take the group off of Facebook and you actually, cause folks to have to self-select into something, the quality of the group changes. And so that is what I'm really looking forward to because, part of the reason I feel like I was burning out too is just because I felt like what I was putting in, I wasn't getting what I wanted out of it. I wasn't getting the interaction. I wasn't getting I was doing different things that I felt, okay, more people should be excited about this. But I also recognize that I'm in a million Facebook groups and I don't look at all the notifications and I'm overwhelmed by it. So I think, when you force people to kind of make the choice, I want to follow this group because I believe in what, it's all about. And I want to be a part of this community. And even if it's not on Facebook anymore and I have to download another app, I'm still going to go. Those are the people that I want. So I'm looking forward to getting this kicked off. It'll be open at the end of this month. So I'm right now kind of laying down the groundwork because Mighty Networks works a little bit differently than Facebook. It's a lot less noisy. Essentially, when you get in there and you get, you're inside of a group, it's basically a closed system. You're not going to see ads. You're not going to see suggestions. You're going to basically see the content in the group.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so I'm basically building all of that out, putting some, resources in place and just kind of getting everything all set up. So it'll be ready to go by the end of the month.
Wow. We are on the same page when it comes to your community, because I don't want to be held hostage by Facebook. I don't want to grow my community on Facebook. Although everyone's saying, oh, you got to get on Facebook, you got to Facebook this, but I'm doing my research like you did because I'm trying to find a place that I can grow my network and not be beholden to Facebook. And thank you for that resource. For those of you who are listening, she said Mighty Networks is the tool that she's getting set up. And I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a learning curve, but I would say that, be prepared to, answer, questions. Your audience may have questions about it because it does function a little bit differently from Facebook. Some of the functionality is different. I think it's got more functionality it's got more functionality that is more conducive to really creating discussion and group interaction and keeping people focused and really, creating connection for people. So, but people you need to get used to it. So be patient and, hold your community. If you're bringing a community from Facebook, be prepared to hold their hand through that. So, getting used to it, onboarding and everything. So, but it'll be worth it.
I love it. Love it. Love it. So, thank you so much for sharing that. And I guess it kind of leads us into the next question. How have you grown your business to where you are today? It seems like you are in transition. However, you're in a growing transition.
Yeah. Most of my business at this point up till now, because it is a part-time thing as well, is, really just a lot of stuff that's not really scalable. It's a lot of conversations. It's a lot of, I've spent a lot of time in my Facebook group and really, building connections with the people in the group and, answering all kinds of side hustle related questions and helping folks and hopping on Zoom calls with people. And, that's really paid off. I think that that's kind of, I don't know, at least if you've got a service-based business, I think that that's the best way to get started. It doesn't cost anything but time, which, yes, I know there's a cost to it, but I also think it's just you can't replace that, especially nowadays. And Kim, I don't know if you feel this way as well, but it's just there's so much online, there's so much going on. Sometimes you just crave that human connection. You want to know there's a person behind, that picture or that logo. You want to be able to connect. And I think that that's what people are really craving. And so that's, my group has always been about that connection, bringing other side hustlers together. It hasn't always been, about me. It's not about me. If you don't hire me as a coach, it's fine. But if you meet a buddy in the group who now you guys can connect over what you do and the struggles you have, I'm excited for that. So that's really, what it comes down to. Conversations.
Good. It's exciting, for you to share all this, and because there are a lot of people who are working 9-to-5 jobs, as you say, or a full-time job. However, they have this desire to create something outside of that will allow them to release this thing that's inside of them where they want to share with others. And thank you so much for creating this opportunity for people to be able to do that. So I guess the last question I would have for you is, what do you feel has been the keys to your success in your business?
Number one, it's just that I don't give up. I found something that I really love. And yes, I've made adjustments and it's taken different shapes, but I also think that's part of being in business. If you do the same thing now that you were doing 3 years ago, chances are it's not going to work out the same way. Things move at the speed of like light these days. So don't be afraid to kind of try something new and, kind of make sure that the business works for you. Make sure that you're happy. It's got to feel good. I mean, at the end of the day, we talked about, side businesses that you love. You've got a full-time job, you've got a family, you've got kids and all this stuff. The side business shouldn't be a pain in the butt. It should be something that you look forward to. So it's an expression of, your purpose in the world. I don't know if I probably made this a little bit clear through the interview, but I really geek out on service-based businesses. That's my thing. So it's about, basically providing a service that is something that is important to you, and a way for you to make an impact in the world. So yeah, I think just my persistence and my willingness to make adjustments, being able to manage my time in a way that is, it's not perfect, but I'm always making adjustments there. I'm checking in on a weekly basis. I'm reviewing things. I'm reviewing my goals. I'm making sure that I'm making those adjustments and then course correcting, moving forward. Communicating with my partner. So my girlfriend, making sure that, she knows where I'm at with the business, how much time I need, how important it is to me. Just all of those things, I guess, would be, I would say the keys to my success.
Oh, that's awesome. One thing that you, regardless if you have a full-time job or full-time job, side hustle, or you're running your own business, one of the things that I have found that's very important is to have a support system. I would not be where I am if I didn't have the support system I have in place. I have friends and peers that I have been connected to online. I may have met them in person. Well, all my close ones I have. But I have a support system, and I can call them up if I need advice. I can send them a quick message if I'm going through some things. You have to have someone to talk to. So one of the things that I would say for those who are looking to grow a business or create a business or a side business, get a support system, mentor, peers. That's my support system, because those people keep me sane. Those people keep me on target. And then if at a point where you can afford it, get a support team, some people who work for you and help you grow your business. That way you can free up your time again. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now I want you to share how people can get in touch with you and what you have coming up.
Yeah. And just, what you said is absolutely true, folks. Like having, especially as a side hustler, you may have friends who just work full-time jobs and they don't get it. They don't know why you're like staying up late or getting up early and putting all this time into something that they don't understand. Find support. That's probably I would say the number one reason why my group exists. Like that's what it is. It's like, let's all be side hustlers together and let's, support each other because it's important. I call it business buddies. Make sure you have business buddies to call up and, check in on and keep each other accountable. So yes, you can find me. My website is tracey-minutolo.com. So it's tracey-minutolo.com. I know it's a long and difficult name. And you can find out more about the Side Hustle Success Lab at sidehustlesuccesslab.com. I said we are moving off of Facebook. So right now that link points right to Facebook, but when I move it, it's going to point right to the new group. So whenever you're listening to this, you will have access to the right group.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And once again, everyone, this is Kim Beasley, your host of Pamper Your Business podcast.
You have been listening to Pamper My Business podcast, and I am your host, Kim Beasley. Join the Pamper My Business community by visiting pamper-my-business.com, where you will find our free training along with our masterclass so that you can continue your learning journey about building your brand online.